Folks, you won't believe the things that we have to do to get a podcast to you every week here on Rage Select. Jason has had to sacrifice 2 goats. Not just the regular goat that we do to make sure the podcast is all right, but two goats.
Witchcraft and voodoo and Santeria and all manner of sympathetic magics and some sort of dark god from the outer darkness, an elder lord. I had to contact him as well. Or it, or she, whatever.
Where do you get all those goats anyway? Do you got a goat guy?
I get a guy.
I get Jason Murphy's goat farm, like outside of Austin, that's just doing nothing but raising sacrificial goats for you.
You should come one day to one of my goat runs.
Wait, what is that? Is that when you race a goat? Is that?
No. It's where we acquire a goat. I don't want to spoil how everything works. It's a lot of fun, but just trust me.
Okay, that sounds legit and all above board. I like every single part of what I'm hearing here.
It's fun. It's fun. They're kind of legendary.
Yeah,
the goat runs.
The goat runs. Okay.
Yes.
Do I have to bring my own robe, or do you guys have one that I can borrow? Is that I don't know how it works.
No, it's all nude.
Okay. Oh, it's totally nude. Okay, well that works.
Totally nude.
Do you think you win in a fight against a goat, Jason? Do you think a goat really had it in for you? That you could, like regular goat, not like a mountain goat, but
I was about to say mountain goat. No, a mountain goat will fuck me right up.
Yeah.
Regular goat?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could take a regular goat.
How many goats could you take?
I know this for a fact.
Oh, yeah. That was a hell of a Friday night. Well, here's our invariable late title card. Welcome everybody to the Rage Select podcast. As always, I am Jeff.
I'm Jason,
and we're Skyping it up this week. We're Skyping it up. Jason's like, I have had enough of driving to Canada to where you live, so we're getting our Skype on. It's funny. I was playing, I guess, Forza Horizon today with Aaron, and I noticed. I think, is it just every single game these days has the late title card on it? That there's no games that just start out with, like,
The Last of Us. Thing. That's kind of their thing. Yeah, that's what they do now. It's never just like, start, go, do it. No, you got to play a little bit and have a heavy exposition. And, they just mimic movies. That's what they do. They just mimic movies these days.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's been that way for a while.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't know. I guess it's just I started pointing it out, and then I found that I was just pointing it out every single time, like every single game. It was like, oh, okay, I need to stop pointing this out because it's
late title card.
Yeah,
late title card.
Yeah. Well, Jason, have you done anything interesting in the last 7 days since the last time that we talked?
Been playing the ever-living shit out of some Shadow of Mordor.
So I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is the first time that this maybe has ever happened to me. So for those of you, we'll have a full review for Shadows of Mordor. Probably not the week that comes after this podcast, but probably the week after that. But in Shadows of Mordor, when you get killed, like that boss apparently gets uploaded to other people's games, and so I logged in like on the second day that I had Shadows of Mordor, and it was like, your death has been avenged by Jason Rage Select. And I was
You're goddamn right.
And I was like, fuck that guy. I can avenge my own death. I don't need Jason avenging my deaths for me.
Yeah, clearly you did. You couldn't handle that guy, so I took care of him. It's fine, Jeff. It's okay. And then, teamwork. High five over Skype. Skype 5.
Skype 5?
Teamwork.
How does that even work?
I knew he probably slapped you around, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go over here and pick these goddamn flowers or whatever stupid shit that you were occupying yourself with. And I'm like, all right, that guy put Jeff down. I'm going to go show him that this Grave Walker means business.
I got to say, so between, let's see, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I now have every single side mission except for the hunting missions in Shadows of Mordor done to completion.
How many hours have you put into it?
Like 18. I don't really want to talk about that. But what I can tell you, right now, this is a pro tip, and I feel like we're poaching the review even by talking about this. But pro tip: don't leave out the picking flowers challenges. If you're planning on doing all of them, don't leave them until the end because, all of the stuff except for the main story, done. All the upgrades, I've got like 3 upgrades left until it's fully upgraded. That's all done. So at this point, I was killing some time before we started the podcast, and I was like, I'm going to do some of these things. So I'm just hauling ass through Mordor. There's like 100 orcs chasing me, and I'm just looking for that one little red blip on the map, and I'm like, ooh, that's the flower that I need, and then run up and pick it, and then right when the orcs catch up, I just go hauling ass off. I'm like body checking slaves out of the way.
That's my favorite. When you're fighting somebody and you just give a slave a kick, like, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, like I'm just running, and like war chiefs are showing up like, human! I'm like, no, bro, I gotta pick like 3 daisies for this challenge, and then I gotta go kill some bats for whatever reason. I'm the most bad motherfucker.
You're like Ferdinand the Bull, but instead of the running of the bulls, it's the running of the orcs.
Yeah, I'm just running in a circle around the map of Mordor looking for flowers. And after that, I'll be running in a circle looking for bats and rats and shit like that, because I'm like 6 challenges away from getting 100% in this game, and so fuck it, why not?
Jesus, you haven't fucked around on that.
It's been a little while since the game really kind of grabbed me by the yim-yams, and this one really grabbed me by the yim-yams. But like I said, I don't really want to. I don't want to poach out of the review too much, because I feel this is going to be a hell of a fun review. But I will say, just as a quick public service announcement, we keep getting people asking like, "Hey, are you going to review this thing, or how about this thing, or how about this thing?" And I'm going to tell you guys on the podcast here. I think I said it last week, but if there's a thing that we miss, it's probably not going to happen until December, because holy shit, like 20 to 25 hours of Shadows of Mordor, and then, oh, look, there's Forza Horizon 2. Maybe you'd like to review that as well. So somebody was like, hey, do you want to review Wasteland 2? And I was like, I'd love to, but I don't have time for 20 hours worth of anything unless it's Shadow of Mordor.
What state is it legal to take a video game as your mistress?
I think that's Florida, right? I think Florida is legalized everything at this point. You can fuck a crocodile or marry a signpost or, Ebola, whatever. Just
good, because we are going to have one hell of a honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's okay. I don't want to get too reviewy. Never mind. Never mind.
Needless to say, we could do teasers for the review. Jason Murphy, tentative thumbs up right now, it would appear.
Well, I don't want to commit to anything.
Okay.
Because we got the Onslaught coming up.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit. That's serious business.
The Onslaught of games.
Yeah, but your implication there, Jason, is that you're putting this in GOTY category, right?
Sometimes I've said on this very show, I have said that I would like to get a game pregnant.
Uh-huh.
I would let this game get me pregnant.
Well, I mean, okay, so just like we're not gonna. Okay, I can't speak for the commenters, but us, the staff here of Rage Selected. By staff, I mean me and the voices in my head. We're not gonna hold you accountable, but so far this year, you say this is in the top 5-ish that you played.
It's in the top 1.
Oh, really?
It's in the top 1.
Wow.
That I've played.
Wow.
Yeah. No, this so far. I'm not saying game of the year.
Yeah.
But I'm saying of all the games I've played this year, this one is the best.
It's a hell of a kickoff to the big game season, right? It's a hell of a way to kind of burst open the doors. Nothing but releases from now until December. And you know what I don't understand about the game industry is why all this shit comes out, and then like starting like the second week in December, nothing comes out. Like December is more of a wasteland. Like in the summertime, we're playing fucked up NIS JRPGs. We're playing Battle Princess Arcadius and the new Naruto game and stuff like that. But December, like nothing. And I don't understand why you wouldn't make a marketing push right around Christmas to try to get people to buy the hot new shit for Christmas time. I mean, I guess maybe they want reviews to have already been out so that people know what the good stuff they want is. But I don't know. It just seems a little weird to me, like that they wouldn't put stuff out closer to Christmas directly.
Yeah, because I don't think they realize what slack asses people are naturally. Not everybody gets their shit done in advance. Some people are picking shit up like Christmas Eve.
That's me.
I know. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Actually, you know what? Last year, oh my God, last year was so awesome. For those of you who were listening last year, indulge me. But okay, so I didn't actually order everything that I wanted offline. I didn't do it that way. That's the smart way to do it, but I always fucking forget. But what I did do is I went and I got things from like Best Buy and things from Barnes & Noble. And what I did was I ordered them all online and paid for them and then just walked into the pickup counter and was like, give me my shit. I'm out, so that I don't have to deal with the unwashed masses of rabble that are out there screeching and keening and smelling like garbage, which is what the holiday season is all about, right?
Yes, dealing with something that sounds like Omega Man with Charlton Heston. That's the Merry Christmas.
That shit is what Black Friday looks like to me. It looks like Omega Man to me. I see the people there, and it's just like, all you got to do is squint a little bit and replay some zombie noises in your head. Perfect. Just like Omega Man.
You know, while we're on that topic, let's talk about the end of the world, Jeff.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Which one?
The one that's coming up right now.
Cyborgs from the Future, Zombie Apocalypse.
For those of you listening, we are in Austin, which is a city in Texas. It's the capital of Texas.
Yes.
Which is a state within the United States of America.
Are you explaining this to children from the moon? I think everybody knows this.
I don't. You know, I mean, somebody. I know that Americans are dumb about geography, but I'm thinking maybe there's somebody in like South America or, you know, the Middle East who's listening to this.
Okay.
And they don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Because if they tell me, oh, I'm from Hadamuja, I'm like, I don't know where that is. That could be on the moon. I don't know. Because I don't know shit about geography.
Well, you're an American. You don't have to, right?
Exactly. I've got a thing on my phone that tells me where shit is, okay?
All right.
So, whatever. So about 2.5 hours north of here, just up the interstate, is a city called Dallas. You may have heard of it. There's a TV show set there about 35 years ago.
Yes.
Ebola is there.
And not the rapper. Not the rapper Ebola. This is the actual...
Not the rapper Ebola. Not the Jedi Ebola. He's not there either. The disease, the one that melts your shit, that turns your insides into liquid poop.
Right. Zaire Ebola virus.
The Ebola virus. Yes. Straight out of Liberia, which why they let people go or leave Liberia, I don't fucking know. But they let one of them out, and they came back with one of their Liberian diseases, the shit that we read about in books. And they're like, oh, Ebola, wow, that's, you know, Ebola over the last, like, 30 years, it was, oh, my God, oh, that's scary, that's scary. But then it turned into, a dragon. It's like, yeah, wouldn't it suck if a dragon showed up? Yeah, but that's never going to happen. But now, there's motherfucking Ebola.
Right.
Just north of here, Jeff.
But, okay. But as I understand it, it's not like just like a outbreak, right? Is it? I don't know. I don't read the news.
Dude,
I stay inside the house so I don't get Ebola. Like I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're probably going to be safe. Okay. You and I probably going to be okay.
Right. Well, I do eat a lot of fast food though. Maybe that would be where I would get the Ebola. Is
I'm done. I'm not doing. I'm only eating like frozen and packaged shit.
Yeah.
Because see, here's the thing. They're like. And everybody's getting so goddamn smarmy and snarky on the internet about it. They're just like, well, have you touched anyone's blood or poop that has Ebola? No. Then you don't have Ebola. I'm like, all right, you know what, motherfucker? You're wrong. And when you're vomiting your fucking intestines, your melting intestines out of, you know, when you vomit and sometimes a little bit comes out of your nose, when you're doing that and you're like, oh, I think my liquefied intestines just came out of my goddamn nose.
Right.
You will know. Okay. So they fucking, listen, on that plane that landed in Dallas where the guy had it because he was in Liberia. Don't fucking go to Liberia. I'm sorry to all of our Liberian listeners. I'm sorry. My apologies to all of them. He was in this plane, and then they started testing everyone on the plane.
Right.
It's like, oh, maybe they accidentally came in contact with his poop or blood. No, No, so it's like they're telling us, don't worry, if you haven't, touched any poop or blood, you're going to be fine. But then they're like, but we're still going to check everybody on the plane. Pay no attention. We're still going to check everybody on the plane.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're just like, work, little moles and trolls. Keep working so that you don't bring the economy to a fucking standstill while we frantically scurry to take care of this burgeoning apocalypse.
I see. Okay, here's what I think. I think that I've seen those same smarmy posts on Facebook of people who are like, yeah, are you not eating somebody's poop who has Ebola? Then you probably don't have Ebola. And you go, okay, that's fine. Yes, I'm not doing that, but does it really hurt to be moderately concerned about the infectious disease with the 50% survival rate that destroys your internal organs? Like, but I'm not saying that I'm going to walk outside in a hazmat suit every day, right? Or start stocking up on bottled water and buy a shotgun, but it's maybe not like completely unheard of to, I don't know, be a little bit like cautious about this shit and just be like, hey, I think I'd like to know, which I realize is a little weird coming from me because I don't really know shit. I'm just like, what, Ebola? When does Aliens Isolation come out again? I got shit that needs doing.
Digitally download that, man. You don't want to go to like GameStop and maybe the dude like vomited blood on the copy that he just happens to hand to you.
Yeah.
And you touch it and then you're fucking dead. But and they're like, okay, only blood and poop and bodily fluids and whatever.
Right.
You didn't come in contact with any of that, you're fine. I'm like, well, this shit's like rampant in Liberia. So I want to know if your theory of transmission is correct, Mr. Science Media, then what the fuck are they doing in Liberia? Are they having like Liberian poop parties?
Well,
that's the name of my Black Flag cover band, by the way. Liberian Poop Party. Nailed it. None of you fuckers take it. Or if they feel the need to test everyone on that plane, what the fuck did they think was going on in that plane? Like, well, it's probably fine. I mean, there were a couple people who were just smearing this guy's shit all over their face in the aisles. Because, Southwest, so whatever.
I know nothing about Liberia. I think it's entirely possible, though, that there might be places if you have a place that has a disease that is generally transmitted through bodily fluids, feces, and blood, right? If you are in a place that has, like, not very good containment of, like, sewage or medical centers that are reusing needles or shit that you generally don't see in the first world, I can see how that kind of thing might get out of. But see, the thing is, I don't know shit about Liberia. It's like you were just saying. For all I know, half the people in Liberia are cyborgs, and they take their space bubbles up to Saturn every day for lunch. And it just turns out that one of the things on the menu is the ham and human blood sandwich, and I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Well, here's a hint. It's in Africa.
Okay. Well, I'm not making any generalizations.
Come on, dude. Really? Most of Africa is fucked. I don't want to stereotype an entire continent or its people, but if you look at the travel advisories issued by the United States, most of Africa is just like blacked out. Just like, don't fucking go here.
Now, are you
sure? Liberia is in that area that says, don't fucking go here. There are a few countries in the south, down there where it's, I don't know, where it's less bad, but it's like, Russia, North Korea, parts of Mexico.
Right.
Most of Africa.
Yeah.
Most of it. Liberia, like the Congo, Sierra Leone, all of it. Just fucked.
Now, see,
Liberia's right there.
I'm not entirely convinced, Jason, that I don't want a touch of the old Ebola. It's got a 50% success. It says 50% survival rate, right? You come through that shit, you'd be like, yeah, I had Ebola one time, kicked its ass, just
I'm not coming over. Everything will now be recorded by Skype for Rage Select. And this mic that you loaned me that I'm using right now may be infested with fucking disease.
Does it have any blood or feces on it? Have you checked to see if it has any blood or feces on it? Also, put it closer.
It smells a little weird, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
No, that's beer and cigarettes. That's a different smell. You know if it was blood and feces.
Speaking of happier news, it's fall.
Yeah, it's actually tolerable outside.
Yeah.
Which,
I am drinking Kentucky Pumpkin Barrel Ale.
ugh. What?
Ale brewed with natural pumpkin flavors and spices and aged in oak bourbon barrels.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds far too... I don't like my beer to have very much taste to it.
It's 10% alcohol, my friend.
Oh, there you go. Well,
yeah, they only sell it in a 4-pack because it's like, it's fucking serious. It's not messing around.
well, before the Ebola crawls up our spinal column and kills us with puppies or whatever it does, we've got a whole bunch of inconsequential video game news to get through.
Hang on.
Yes.
Brian Salisbury's having his birthday party
Okay?
this weekend.
Yesterday.
As of you guys, yesterday. For those of you listening to this,
Right.
you know how my wife is about germs. Wait, I gotta see if she's listening or anything. Is she, sweetie?
Do you want to...
Okay, she's in the other room.
You saying you want to give Brian Salisbury Ebola for his birthday? That's not a very good gift. That's not a gift that I really...
No, I like Brian.
Okay.
There are other people within our social circle that I would gladly give some sort of horrible disease to. Brian's not one of them. But he's having that party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a karaoke party.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to be passing around a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be all these people in town for Austin City Limits Festival.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like a goddamn petri dish. So you guys have fun. Enjoy your Ebola. I'm going to be home, locked away in the Murphy Fortress with my dogs. I bought a handle of scotch. Probably last me about 2 days.
Right.
Something like that.
Wait.
I've been forbidden.
Wait.
Oh, shit. She's here. Hi.
Wait,
Hi, sweetheart.
Are you telling me that you're not going to go anywhere near?
I'm not leaving. Well, I've kind of been forbidden from leaving the house.
What?
She's standing there. You know how she is about diseases and shit. She's standing there with her fists on her hips to let me know she's serious.
Yeah.
Arms akimbo.
Okay.
She's standing there right now.
Dude,
she's looking at me like, you're not going anywhere, motherfucker. You're not bringing disease into this house.
Look, man, I've seen your backyard. Your house is built of MRSA, all right? Like, if it's not Ebola, it's going to be something.
My backyard it's just dog poop.
Where do you think MRSA lives? It's probably
MRSA
not
doesn't. Oh, my God. Are you guys pooping MRSA? I don't think so. They're too cute.
Yeah. Well, really? But, like, for reals? Like, you're actually not leaving the house due to,
we might be holing up for a little while.
Holy shit! Really? Do you think that you think the MRSA? You think the Ebola like got in a car and drove down here and is just waiting to spring,
dude,
on the Murphys?
No, but Austin City Limits is here.
Right.
All these people, they bought these expensive tickets, and they're like, "Oh, I've got a headache and a fever, and I'm shitting liquid fire, but I don't want to miss Foster the People."
Right.
So I'm still gonna go, and it's gonna spread like fucking wildfire, dude. You watch. It's gonna turn this place into a hellscape.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, to all of our fine listeners out there, if the Ebola, okay, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. It's too scary. Okay,
say it, sweetie.
Yeah. Okay. If I get,
I have 2 words for you. Porta potty.
Yeah.
But
it's like a box of disease. She's right.
You guys realize that where you're going is not to ACL, right? Like,
dude, what? Those people are going to be at this big outdoor music festival,
right?
And then they're going to hop in their hermetically sealed bus,
right?
And then leave? No, it's just going to be like people passing shit and blood all over the place. It's going to be a Liberian shit party right down there in the fucking Pearl Jam.
Okay. Once again,
front
though,
stage.
Like, that's in downtown Austin, and
people are going to be passing the reefer around. It's going to have weed. It's going to have like weed and fucking Ebola on it.
Jason,
so you're going to take a toke, and then you're gonna just liquefy. You're going to fucking die.
I've never seen you this paranoid about anything before. This is insane. Like, the people that drove in here from out of town are going to be downtown at a music festival, and
you're all going to die.
But we're not going to that music festival. That's not where the party is.
They're going to be out and about in the town.
But
and when the thing's over, you know where they're going to go? To a popular karaoke venue in town.
To the squarest bar in all of Austin. I've been to that place. I go there all the time. My friend hangs out there. That place is not for cool people that came into town.
No, it's not. But Ebola doesn't care who's cool. And who's not? You think it cares?
I think the scenario is highly unlikely. I think the statistics are on my side.
I think you're all going to fucking die. And maybe I'm using this as an excuse to just sit home and watch movies and drink. But you can't prove that, so fuck you. And also, I'm going to take your dog and burn your house down when you're dead.
Okay. Yeah, you feel free to... No, well, don't burn my house down. It's got a lot of... At least take the consoles and, sterilize them or whatever you got to do. But don't burn...
Allison is whispering something in my ear.
Okay.
Dogs can get it? That's not even fair. Allison's telling me dogs can get Ebola. That's fucking shitty. That's shit, man.
I don't know. But no.
This. It's been a pretty good friendship. Not great. Me and you, but...
the longer I talk to you, the more paranoid I'm getting. That's the longer I talk to you, the more paranoid I'm getting.
I'm just saying, I think you're being lied to, and we've been told for 30 fucking years that, oh my God, Ebola, it's this boogeyman of a virus. But now they're like, we're just playing. It's fine. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Now that it's here, everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know, man. I'm getting a pretty hefty SARS vibe off this bullshit, personally. You remember when everybody was going to die from SARS?
You'll be begging for SARS.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just fuck it, man. Just get out there and do it. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not gonna I'm not going to any Liberian poop parties the next few weeks. But there's only so long that you can stay inside your house with the windows taped up before you're just gonna go crazy like the fucking. Zod did in that movie with what's her face? Bug. Yes, that's
Bug.
what I'm thinking of. Well, you've now officially freaked me out to the point.
Wait.
What?
You know how they're like, oh, we have Western medicine and means to keep all the stuff from being contagious. Well, then how did 2 of the American doctors and 1 of the nurses' aides contract it using these methods? And they can't figure out how.
I don't have information to talk to you guys about this with.
He doesn't know. See, that's why you're just blithely like, whatever, I'm going to eat my Panda Express and have all of these filthy fucking out-of-towners come into town and enjoy this music. Dude, I'm telling you.
But Jason, by your rationale, once the filthy out-of-towners come into town, Austin is destroyed. It doesn't matter if you stay in your house because everybody else is going to vomit up blood and die because they're going to pass it on to all the local businesses who are going to pass it on to their families, who are going to pass it on to their families, and your next-door neighbor is going to have it, and there's not going to be any escaping. And even if there is escaping, everybody in town, the whole town will be quarantined with the ET things, the guys with walkie-talkies, pointing walkie-talkies at your bike as you're trying to jump over with the red fern in the basket.
Eventually it'll burn itself out. We'll be fine.
Eventually it'll burn itself out. Wouldn't it have burned itself out of Africa years ago if it was going to burn itself out? It's obviously a sustainable thing that's been going on for a long period of time. So you could either hermetically seal your entire life up, or you got to go, there's already 100,000 things that could kill me out there. Now it's 100,001.
Oh, you Ebola apologist. That's what you're saying now. Just give in, Jason. Just give in. There's no hope. Just walk into the waiting arms of turning your insides to liquid shit.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying.
But this is a podcast about video games. And you know what? When the time comes, I'm going to be contracted to take young, not Ellen Page, to Colorado so we can find a fucking cure. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to rock that shit, bro. I'm going to rock it. And it's... Yeah, and they're going to be setting up checkpoints, and machine gunning fools. I'm gonna rise to the occasion. Jeff.
I think
you're gonna be fucking dead.
I'm gonna be dead. Well, yeah, I'll be dead. So you just whatever.
You're gonna write fucking epic poems about me.
I think that you're going to get tired the first time you actually have to shiv somebody to death in the wilderness.
I can probably get about 3 shivs, but that's why I'm going to carry a claymore around. It's just one stroke.
Okay.
Just one right across the decapitation. Because I've been playing some Shadow of Mordor, like I was saying.
Right.
I think I got it.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so once the Ebola turns everybody into orcs, A-okay, you ready to go. You get your ghost friend.
Yeah.
Bada boom.
It's like, once you get Ebola, I'm going to start calling you Mazog Gut Bag.
Right.
Everybody gets an orc name when they get Ebola. Everybody gets an orc name.
That's mean, man. I see you come into like the hospital with like green face paint and a bunch of bones to put on the person so that they're all dressed up. Be like, you're my nemesis now. Anyway.
Okay, you make it sound kind of cool.
Let's do some news. We don't have a hell of a lot of news this week, so I'm going to cut a few of these stories because we've gone on way too long talking about Ebola. So the first 2 stories that I've got here are basically that 2 companies are trying to be a lot more. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with kind of ethics and stuff. But 2 companies out there are trying to be a little bit more transparent with telling people who's getting money and sponsorships and things when they engage in their services. And the first one of those is Twitch. Twitch is instituting a new policy where basically if you're getting paid, if you're getting any kind of endorsement deal or any kind of thing for your broadcast, it's got to be disclosed. And there's going to be a little marker on your video that tells people, hey, this company gave me money to do this. And
that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. The other one is Steam with the curator stuff. So,
oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
It says they've updated their policies, requiring that curators disclose any compensation received for recommending games on the service. Which, actually, if you ask me, if you've received compensation for recommending Steam as games on Steam as a curator, I kind of think you shouldn't be a curator on Steam.
Yes.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, doesn't that just open the door to like, just companies with their marketing budgets just paying people off to recommend their shit? I mean, it seems like within no time that their marketing budget is just going to get funneled into people who have a lot of followers and who are the most popular people on Steam to recommend their games, right? I mean, whether they're good or bad or whatever, they're going to write you a check for $1,000 or $2,000. Like, that just doesn't seem to be even remotely in the spirit of what the whole curator thing actually is supposed to be. Which makes me wonder why they would even let people do it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's letting corporate interests come into something that's just supposed to be, it's like finding one of your devoted fans or whatever to run the message board or something like that. Yeah. What if Coca-Cola decided to run your message board?
To me, I guess it would feel like if I found out that like you told me about a movie and that you were actually. I'll tell you what worries me more than Ebola, Jason, is when you hear those stories about companies that pay people to go out and talk about their products in a casual way to people, like at bars and stuff like that. You've heard about this stuff? This kind of guerrilla marketing. It's kind of like black ops marketing where they'll give people a brief for like a brand of sausage, right, or something, and they'll send them a case of it, and then they say, hey, we'll give you a couple $100 if you take this sausage to like your next family barbecue and just tell everybody like, hey, this stuff's really good, right, as a way of insinuating those recommendations without being directly marketed to. That's kind of like, I live in fear of that. Of like, if I found out that you were telling me about this horror movie that played at Fantastic Fest because they wrote you a check to tell everybody that that this movie was really good, that would.
Yeah, but let's go back to the whole people at a bar trying to get you to sell sausage.
Well, people at a bar, I think, is different. I've read reports. There was a documentary that talked about this, and I really have no idea how widespread this is. I've read a couple stories over the last 5 or 10 years about it. I don't know if they even still do it anymore, where they would like take like a woman, right, and they would give her like a phone, and then they would send her out to a bar, and she'd sit there whenever anybody talked to her. She would have this kind of subtle training on like working the dude, I love this new phone. Have you seen one of these? It's pretty cool. Like just into common conversation with the people as a way to kind of like virally spread the idea of those products out into the world. And it just makes me go like,
EA is totally going to start doing that. You're going to be like, so how about you and I go back and back to your place? You're like, yeah, cool. Maybe we can play the new DLC for Battlefield 4.
Actually, From Software should already be paying me for the amount that I fucking talk about Dark Souls on a regular basis.
God, they should be sending whores to your house.
Or just drugs. Just a sock full of cocaine shows up in the mail with the return address.
Giant gym sock full of coke.
Oh, man. If you're listening, seriously, I could use a gym sock full of cocaine right about now. But yeah, I think that for Twitch, that makes a lot of sense. I think that for Steam, I honestly would rather just see them excise people who take a payment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I was on, and I've mentioned this a number of times, check out Socialtron Live on Twitch, some friends of ours that we're going to start doing some like link trading with and everything. We're kind of... should I even say anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm still in the beginning. I need to email those guys back. But yeah, we're probably going to try to put something together with them.
It's pretty benign. So whatever. But anyway, I was hanging out with them, and while we were doing one of their marathons, they were showing the new show on Fox, Utopia. And so that was down in a little window, so you could see like the chat room in a window. You could see us playing in a window, and then you could also see Utopia. So it was like Utopia sponsored this. So it was all, like on the up and up. And I don't see any problem with that. But then you got that Insidious shit that you're talking about with I mean, how would it be if, and this goes back to a question from last week, if like Jeff and I are doing the podcast and we're obsessively talking about the new Kia Sorento and what a great car it is and blah, blah, blah. That would be exceptionally shitty, right? And despite what you might think, and I know you're all thinking it right fucking now,
I'm thinking it
Taco
right now.
Bell has not given us a goddamn thing. And it pisses me off to no end because I will totally be a shill for them.
But that's the thing, is that I think that it's funny that Taco Bell could totally pay us, and you just be like, hey, bitches, Taco Bell gave us money. Eat Taco Bell. It's got a lot of cheese in it. Jeff's a pussy. He doesn't like cheese. But you're a man, and you do like cheese. Go to Taco Bell. Eat cheese, motherfucker. And then that would be like our identification break, like our station break.
That was kind of the best commercial I've ever heard.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel that like as especially as you're starting to see, I don't know, there's a part of this that ties into another thing that I don't think I'm ready to talk about. But I think as you see the rise of Twitch and things like Steam curation and just general community, people who are able to trust in a smaller community instead of going to, just press outlets who are doing just dumps of whatever, coverage of stuff just to get copies of the games, that I think that it's really important because once the game companies start focusing down on smaller people that run Twitch streams or, the Steam curation or stuff like that, that shit should probably definitely be out the open.
Absolutely.
And we'll tell you, we don't get shit. I mean, we talked about it last week. We don't really get shit, but we'll tell you if we do. All right, next up. So, Jason, I don't know if you know about the Loot Cave. Do you know?
Oh, yeah. On Destiny, right.
Mm-hmm. So, for those of you who haven't seen, apparently there was a thing in Destiny where there was a specific cave that you had to like stand at a certain distance from, and it would spawn waves of guys in some areas, and you just sit there and shoot. And as long as you killed all the guys that came out, more guys would spawn, and you kill those guys, and more guys would spawn. And so people would do that for a few minutes. They'd just walk into this cave, and it would just be like floor to ceiling loot, just
like the Cave of Wonders on Aladdin, or whatever.
Right. It just loot. Everywhere is loot. Well, I was about to say Blizzard. Bungie closed up Loot Cave 1.0. They sent out a thing, they patched it out. You can't do loot cave 1.0. And then like 2 days later, somebody found another loot cave, and this is what they're doing. And it makes me wonder, like, how if this is what people are doing in Destiny, is this really what you want to do with your Destiny time?
Yeah, it's like, that's, oh, good. Now you have a really powerful character.
Right.
That's not fun.
Well, then I was talking with Aaron today about Destiny, and he gave me this whole spiel about getting this one epic or unique weapon, and how it was like, go do 7 strike missions and then go over here and then to unlock this and then take that to this guy that only appears on the weekends and he'll unlock the next part of it. And then the last part was like, get this many points in Crucible. And as he was telling me, I was just like, man, I am exhausted listening to this shit. Like,
yeah. And plus, it's just weird because people are still playing Destiny.
well, yeah, I mean, Aaron, I was talking with him about that. I was just like, there's too much for me. I can't play anything for more than 2 weeks straight. All right. Well, next up we have, this is an interesting one, Jason. I don't know if you saw this one last week. Have you ever heard of a company called Dexta Robotics?
No.
Okay. So last week or actually this is just a couple days ago, there was this company, Dexta Robotics, and they're creating a prototype of this thing called the Dexmo F2. All right. This is like the marketing thing, right? Except we're not getting paid for this shit, but I think it's really cool. So what this thing is it's like imagine like it's like a piece of robotics, right? And you can actually look it up while I'm talking. And it like goes over the back of your hand, and then it's got these servo motors that go into these different like arms that go up and then connect to each one of your fingers via a little arm connector. And what it is it's a way for those little arm connectors. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this. You guys should just go look it up. What the arm connectors do is that in the programming, they will pull back on your fingers. So if you're trying to flex your finger forward, they will pull back in various degrees on your fingers to keep you from moving your finger forward. But they can be, apparently, the idea for this technology is to program it so that you can touch a virtual object. And that it will give you, like, you can't actually feel the object touch your finger, but what you can feel is resistance on your hand when you put it on whatever this virtual thing is that you're looking at.
That sounds pretty rad.
This thing looks, I mean, right now it looks like a fucking alien, like, death robot spider attached to your hand. But yeah, this thing is just cool. And this week we didn't do it Jeff versus beer, Jeff versus VR, or any of that stuff. And I haven't gotten a chance to play any VR games because I've just been playing all the regular games all week. So I had to shoehorn some kind of VR story in here. But what I want to know, the thing that we need to know just right now, Jason, is can you cop a virtual feel with this technology?
That'll be the thing that this technology lives or dies by, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Right now, the thing is crazy big and looks absolutely nutty. But I'm really interested to see where this goes. And we've got a VR question. That's the first question up on our on the question side of this. That'll let us go into detail a little bit more about kind of what we think about this. But I think this thing is really cool. You guys check it out. Looks pretty spiffy. Next up. Speaking of EA, as we were a few minutes ago, it looks like EA has caved again, or is trying to fix their terrible. I feel bad for Maxis, Jason.
Okay.
They just can't catch a break. Like, so The Sims 4 came out, and I didn't have a bad time with it, but all of your diehard Sims fans were just like, where is this? And where is this? And where is this? And I understand. I'm not saying you Sims fans are wrong or anything. But EA has announced that over the next couple months, they're going to be patching in a few different things to The Sims 4, including swimming pools, which apparently people were really pissed off that there weren't swimming pools in The Sims.
Okay.
I don't fucking understand that. A bunch of new clothing options because they said there weren't enough clothing options. When your Sims die, they can now come back as ghosts, which apparently they were able to do before. That sounds pretty cool. I kind of want to make a ghost army and send them out into other people's Sims worlds to fuck them up, poltergeist style. But what I find most interesting is that there are also going to be some costumes in the October update, including a Darth Vader costume.
Okay.
So what I want to do, I feel like at some point we need to have a Patreon video, Jason, where we bring in the Jason Murphy Sim, who acts remarkably like Jason Murphy, and then have him wear the Darth Vader costume because, it's kind of your destiny.
All right. Yep, I'm down. I'm okay with this. Let's do it. With the Darth Vader costume, do you get to force choke people?
I don't think
other
so.
Sims.
I still don't think there's any way that you could murder other Sims in The Sims.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's only cool if you could destroy the other Sims.
Yeah, absolutely. Force choke, force push, influence the minds of the weak-willed. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Maxis is really missing out on a key demographic of people who want to create, like if you could take SimCity on a smaller level, and of course, I've been back to SimCity since we played it originally, but if you take SimCity, put it on a smaller level, and then let you zoom all the way into Sims and create a whole town, great. But you know what they had in SimCity that they don't have in The Sims? The button to make Godzilla attack, or the button to make an evil genius release a robot army on your town.
See, right. Or, to bring it full circle, introduce Ebola into your Sims.
How would that be fun? Oh, wait. What if they brought Spore minigame in where you had to create Ebola and then you create your little sandbox of the Sims and then give them all stats for health and how much they wash their hands and blah, blah, blah. And then bring in Sim biological warfare. That way you can craft your own retrovirus and just pump it into... Oh, God, this is dark.
I like it.
Shit is dark.
Sims Pandemic coming soon from Rage Select.
And then they have that one level that's like the Eden planet in Serenity. No, what was it called? Miranda in Serenity.
Right.
Where you can just turn on the atmospheric thing and pump shit into the air. And then, oh, God, these guys became Reavers. Now I've got Reavers in my Sim universe.
Oh, I can't wait. Come on, Sims. Maxis, get with it.
You know what? Fuck that Firefly MMO on your phone bullshit. Nothing about that I've seen so far has been in any way, shape, or form remotely interesting to me. But if they were just to take Firefly, just take Firefly and then let me put little Sims in the Firefly ship and then just let me play that. That would be cool. I'd have to keep River from peeing on the floor all the time. It'd be great.
I'd play that.
Yep. All right. Next up, this is more of an informational thing than anything else because they released it last week, and I don't honestly think there's a whole lot of great news to report on this. But hey, Jason, there's going to be Windows 10.
What happened to 9?
I was wondering the same thing. I think that Windows 9 is the mobile platform that's on tablets and stuff right now. I think that what's on the Surface Pro or whatever is Windows 9. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Windows 9. But apparently Microsoft is just really getting out there going yeah, this shit will run on whatever you want it to. And that it's not one OS. It's a product family. Some that are optimized for mobile, some that are optimized for computers and tablets and different things like that. But yeah, the one thing that I felt was really, really having just bought a Windows 8.1 laptop and having found out that apparently the patch that lets you reinstate the start menu is still incoming because that's going to take a fucking year and a half for them to dick around with. Like, when I scroll down on the Windows 10 release page after all their blah-de-blah, we're so awesome bullshit, like the first of the new the first features, the first thing is Start Menu. The familiar Start Menu is back, but it brings...
Yay!
And it's like, this is new Coke all over again, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, let's take away all of the things that you were used to and then just reintroduce it like we're doing you a favor. It's like, oh, yeah, our relationship will be you're really going to love it once I stop slapping you.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do the same asshole thing that Microsoft always does where they like hold back DirectX components so you have to update to Windows 10 to get a certain shader level that only works on the GTX 980 or whatever it is.
Ugh.
I hope they don't do that bullshit because blech. So yeah, who gives a fuck about that? I'll tell you what people really give a fuck about, and that is PlayStation Home.
Oh?
No, nobody gives a fuck about PlayStation Home. I think did you ever log on to PlayStation Home, Jason?
No, have not.
I logged on one time, saw it for the horrific shit show that it was, went, go fuck yourself. If I want to play Second Life, I just download Second Life and bamfed out of there. I'd be curious if any of our listeners actually went into PlayStation Home and took that shit seriously. Did you have a good time? Can you explain to me why it was a good time and why you'd rather be playing PlayStation Home instead of Assassin's Creed? Because, they don't seem to line up. But all that's kind of a moot point because March of 2015, PlayStation Home worldwide, gonerino. Done, doors shut, chapter closed. I feel bad for everybody who engaged in a microtransaction in PlayStation Home. And I think they should get refunds in the form of store credit because that's a bunch of horse shit.
You think so?
Well, you could spend real money in there, right? For like, you could go buy like FIFA brand shoes, or not FIFA. You could buy like Nikes, right, in the Nike store inside of PlayStation Home, or at least you could. 1 month after launch, when I first looked at it, I don't know if they phased that shit out and everything was free, but it used to be that I think you could dump real money into there to buy like branded things from the storefronts of the companies that had, kind of like in Second Life, right? They had a storefront in the game, and you could buy with real money over the PlayStation Network goods and services in there. Well, if they just shut it down, I don't know. Maybe I didn't read. I don't know if I didn't. I don't see anything in here talking about. Yep, I don't know. I don't see anything in here talking about refunds or anything, but this isn't really a super interesting story except for the way that it connects into what we've talked about selling us on a subscription model and then shutting it down, right? Is giving you a place online to spend money and then turning the servers off. So,
it's like, we're breaking all of this new ground on different types of services that existing laws couldn't have really predicted.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really like saying, hey, we need more laws, but maybe we need to start setting some precedents about how existing laws are interpreted. Like, you can't sell a subscription service, for X amount of time and then discontinue it or something like that,
Right. What I honestly feel like is that the online space, just the internet in general, is such a different thing than, we can run into it all the time, right? When we talk about video games, we compare them to movies. You say there's a tenuous connection there that you could make between the two of them, but video games really are a different thing than movies. Movies are passive, video games are active. The internet is really a different thing than brick and mortar stores or... internet access is a different thing than telephone service. Like, I feel like there probably needs to be a group of people, like, high up technologists that are trying to put together ways to ensure that this stuff works. And instead of just saying like, well, virtual goods are just like regular goods, except there's not an actual thing, because that's not the same thing as getting a thing in your hand and getting a thing online. But yeah, I wonder if they're going to do anything. I mean, maybe they just haven't announced anything yet. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but maybe they haven't announced specifically what they're going to do, if they're going to refund people a certain amount of money. But speaking of money and obscene amounts of money, our last news story today, Star Citizen has earned the Guinness World Record for crowdfunding.
Really?
Star Citizen recently crossed the $55 million line in funding.
That's still not enough for a AAA game, but that's substantial.
Pretty goddamn close, yeah. So Chris Roberts announced that the game is entering the Guinness Book of World Records not as the largest crowdfunded game of all time, but as the largest crowdfunded anything of all time. So there's been no project to date that has been more crowdfunded than Star Citizen. This game, I know we keep asking this every time it comes up, is there any way that this game is going to be this good? Is there any possible way that this game is it's going to have to be the best game ever, right? No.
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 That's optimistic. Just some would say naive. Some would say fucking a stupid assumption. But no.
I guess you know what? I guess in retrospect, right? I should even be hyperbolic about this. That you just say, "Look, man, it's just a video game. It's going to come out. Other games out there have had budgets that were way higher than that, and you bought them for $60, and they were decent games, and it was great. You shouldn't let any part of this influence how you feel about the game." So,
yeah. Well, here's the thing. You know what AAA budgets are like, and they're trying to make this look like a AAA game. They're going to need 10 times that amount to look like something. Well, okay, maybe not 10 times, maybe 5.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on just their scope, right? Like, I mean, here's a study online. I just typed this into the internet, and here's a study from that's on The Escapist that says an independent study claims that the average cost to develop a AAA multi-platform game is around $23 million. Now, this is January of 2010. So even if you say, let's see, Modern Warfare 2's budget was $50 million, you know, that's not. I mean, I
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Gran Turismo 5, which remember was in development forever, was $60 million.
Oh.
So I think that, I mean, you know, yeah, I think that they probably, it just depends on whether the scope they've got can match. Like if their scope is too high, then their budget isn't going to match that. That's fine. But I think you could, I mean, you know, $55 million is enough to make a goddamn AAA video game. Now, whether you'll get that back as a straight up only PC game is another question. But I guess they don't have to make the money back. It's already been donated to them. So fucking whatever. But yeah, I still thought that was interesting. I want to know what the second what they beat. What was the most crowdfunded thing of all time before Star Citizen?
Potato salad.
Potato salad. I saw a thing on Facebook that guy actually did his potato salad like expo that they said he would do if he got like $20,000 or whatever.
Oh,
guy actually put on his thing. Yeah. Well, that is our cue to take a break. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to sign off for a second here, take a quick break. But when we come back, we have got the questions from you, the listeners, and we're going to motherfucking answer them. So stay tuned, and we'll be back momentarily. All right, everybody, we are back, and it is time. Open your brains, clear out your sinuses, go with your neti pot, and just open it all up to the wisdom of Rage Select. Just waft it in. We can blow it into your face, and what is it? It probably smells a lot like Lone Star, but sorry about that.
Probably, yeah, that's fair.
All right, and we have questions. So if you want to send a question in, send it to mail@rageselect.com. That is mail@rageselect.com. And our very first question comes in from the Unknown Ronin. And he says, Dear Rage Select, last week you spoke in detail about the possibilities of the Oculus Rift on human society, specifically how it would either promote or inhibit violence amongst the nation's youth. Well, my question is this. What about some of the other implications of this new technology, namely the holodeck conundrum, wherein once you can set up a program where you can live out your greatest fantasies, and why even bother dealing with real life? Why even bother going out and getting a date when you can make love with whatever woman, man, shoe, or mantis of your choosing? Why ever work towards your goal of being a writer, actor, entrepreneur, etc., when your greatest pleasures are only a button push away? With this kind of technology becoming more of a thing in the future, aren't you concerned that this could lead to societal stagnation, where cultural and technological advancement could grind down to a crawl, if not stop entirely? Anyway, thanks for reading my question, and keep up the good work. I get this from time to time, Jason. His P.S. Even though I really enjoy Jeff versus Beer, I'm concerned with the weekly binge drinking could be bad for your health. The last thing I want is to tune in and find out the rates like to cease to be due to gratuitous amounts of liver failure. Sincerely, the Unknown Ronin. Unknown Ronin, you don't have to worry. As we've clearly established, the Liberian poop party is probably what's going to take me down. Is I'm going to be at the bar. This really hot woman's going to be there. She's going to be like, why don't you come back to my place? Going to open the door. There's going to be a Liberian poop party going on in there. I'm going to be real drunk, and I'm going to be like, shit. Literally.
Yeah. The Unknown Ronin, don't worry about the alcohol consumption. What you see on Jeff versus Beer,
yeah,
that ain't shit.
It really isn't. It takes a long... Like, that's what a lot of people were saying when Jeff versus Beer first came out. They're like, I'm worried for your health. And I'm like, you guys have never seen me on a Friday night.
Wait, people were actually saying that?
Yeah, there've been a few people who have been like, you should do this like once every other week or once every couple of weeks, just to make sure that you aren't really damaging your body with the excessive consumption of alcohol. And as somebody who comes from, well, not a long line of carefully controlled psychotic alcoholics, I could tell you that it takes a long time and way more beer than I'm drinking on that show. I mean, I drink like 8 beers, right, on Jeff versus Beer.
Yeah.
It takes I've known people in the service industry. Like, we need to get somebody who's like a cook at a restaurant up in here.
8 beers before they clock in.
Right, like I used to hang out with some of those people. And what they would do is they would get off work at 11:30, go buy a 24-pack, go to the bar from midnight until 2, and have like 6 beers and 3 shots, and then go home and drink like half of that 24-pack. And this is like every day, like every single day.
Yeah,
it takes a lot. I mean, as long as you aren't, I don't know, cage fighter or something that's already destroying your internal organs or whatever. So don't worry about me. But as far as the question goes, I don't know, Jason, what do you think about this holodeck conundrum about being able to do whatever you want to?
It depends on how good it is, really, because I mean, the Oculus is great, but it's really not going to be something that's going to substitute. Oh yeah, this will totally be a good replacement for me having children and living a fulfilling life, or whatever your idea of a fulfilling life is. It's still just a visual and audio representation of things, so it's not going to go all the way. It's not going to pull you out of reality. Reality is still better. Plus, there's also the practical thing that you have to consider, in that you are going to need to work in order to keep the power turned on, so you can keep using your Oculus. It's not going to erode society. It might drastically change it, especially as it keeps getting better and better and better. But there's still no substitute for going out and actually having a good meal or making real human connections, that kind of thing.
I mean, I feel like a lot of times you and I have conversations about this, not necessarily on the mic, about how the internet has already changed the priorities of society in a lot of different ways. Like, you could make an argument to say that just the existence of a thing like Facebook/Twitter/Instagram has already changed the priorities that people have with what they do and what they show other people, and this kind of weird clicks of like mini stardom. And look at vloggers on YouTube, people who get 30,000 views or 300,000 views every time they just put up a video going like, yeah, I had chicken, it was pretty good, whatever. Plus, I also like to look at it from the opposite direction and say that, like, okay, so let's say you have a simulation that's 90, 80, let's say 75%, right, that you could just put on and you can simulate walking on the Great Wall of China. Well, it's there's a lot of effort involved. I will probably never walk on the Great Wall of China in my life, right? Because it's a lot of money and it's a trip and you got to plan all this stuff. You got to have disposable income. You got to have time to go do this. Blah, 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 blah. So if you can have the experience of walking on the Great Wall of China at 70% of real life, that's probably a better way to expand your horizons of this world than never having it at all. Now, obviously, I think that the people who would, as he says, wallow in just sex with people and stardom and stuff like that are probably the sort of people who just watch a shit ton of reality television all day anyway, who are already kind of sublimating their desires into the media that we consume. I don't know. I think that society will adapt as it always has. And I don't think that unless the robots take over that we're going to be able to, just spend all day in our Oculuses or whatever they are, just doing whatever the fuck we want to. Plus, there's actually another case to be made that says that if you're the sort of person who would rather just live out their entire life in a simulation, maybe it's not a bad thing to just let you do that. You're happy, and we don't have to deal with you out in public going, all the time about everything, because you could just stay at home and be a rock star for your entire life.
Yeah, what's it matter? Fine.
Yeah. And the rest of us will be out here making music and painting and, I don't know, making food or doing whatever.
Us? All those things you listed? You and I don't do any of those, dude. Not one.
I've drawn pictures before. I painted paintings. I have several paintings, actually. Yeah.
That wasn't... I think you should take pictures of those and put them up on the website for us to criticize.
Oh, no, they're really terrible. I wouldn't. They were when I was learning. So
we want to see them.
Nobody wants to see them.
We want to see them.
Nobody wants to see them. There's only one that I thought was even remotely interesting. And then my art teacher at one point kept telling me, like, hey, can you come get this? Because I left it with her to put on the website or something. She wanted to take a picture and put it on the website. And then she got me on Facebook and she was like, hey, I need you to come pick this up. And I was like, I didn't answer. And then after a few days, she was like, all right, look, if you don't pick this up, I'm going to just prime it and I'm going to use the canvas and paint something else on it. And I was like, yeah, just do that. That's fine. That's fine. I have important things like Skyrim to do right now. Okay. But yeah. All right, our next question comes in from Brian. Brian says, and this was specifically for you, Jason, is there such a thing as listening to too much Rage Select? Or maybe it's too much Jason Murphy? Backstory, while talking to a girl who, like myself, is a huge Nintendo fan, she told me her ambition was to one day work as an artist for Nintendo. Upon hearing that is I almost told her, bitch, I'm going to marry you, but luckily stopped at bit and thought it was too awkward a joke for a first meeting. Recently, I found that I've adopted some of Jason's awesome use of English, and I keep notes of my most favorite Jason moments so that I know which episode and which time to go to when I'm in the mood for some Jason hilarity. On a side note, Jason told Allison, bitch, I'm going to marry you on Leong's Star Trek episode, which is where I took my first note of Jason Murphy. Keep up the good work and continue spreading the good word of Dongacles, Brian. And so, Jason, you are worming your way into the hearts and minds of our nation's, I don't know, youth, maybe?
I'm kind of America's sweetheart, Jeff. I mean, let's be honest. It's like, Jennifer Lawrence, whatever. There were pictures out there with her tits and everything, so she's done. So, me.
This is 2015 is going to be the year of Jason.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be like, there's going to be like Jason-themed carnivals, and you're going to take your kids to them. Maybe I'll be on a T-shirt. Yeah. You know what? I think, Brian, you should have just said it. You should have said, bitch, I'm going to marry you. And if she stuck around, because here's the thing. When you meet a girl,
right,
you throw all of your crazy shit at her right up front.
Now, you see, you have advised me specifically against throwing all my crazy at some bitch up front. Like,
well, your crazy's fucking boring.
Yeah,
You're crazy is like, I've played through Dark Souls 7 times. That will make a woman's vag seal right up, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of your...
Wait. According to your dating tips on this very podcast, you have advised other people to essentially just walk up to every woman that you meet and then say, yo, bitch, I beat Dark Souls like 52 times. And that eventually one of them is going to go, fucking take me. And then you just go marry her and then you're done.
Well,
and that's it.
Yes, but I have also said it depends what you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to get some stank on your hang low? Or do you want to get married?
This is true. This is very true.
You need to decide.
I'm just pointing this out.
And plus, it's you gotta craft your approach.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so recently this guy told me, he's like, yeah, you know, he told me and a bunch of other people. It was on the Socialtron thing again.
Mm-hmm.
He said, hey, I just thanks to your advice, everyone, I went ahead and told that girl that I loved her, and I'm waiting to hear back what she said. And I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Don't do that.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, well, or at least...
even Jeff knows, guy, who I
yeah.
don't remember his name.
Well, I guess the question is, what do you mean you're waiting to hear back? Like, did you not say it to her face?
No, it was over text or some shit like that.
Why? Well, okay,
right.
No, I'm old. All right, so I am the equivalent of somebody who says like, you can't write a woman a letter telling her that you love her. You gotta take a stagecoach to her small village and then, give her father a goat and say, sir, your daughter is the spiffiest. I mean, like I don't know what time period I'm describing here. It's like some
You're
kind
all
of
over
amalgamation.
the place, but
yeah.
we're with you. We get it. You don't do that, Brian. Let it fly. It depends. It depends. What do you want out of this girl? And you gotta craft your message. You gotta figure out real quick what she can put up with. But really, if you want to get laid, being an asshole is a great way to do it.
I think, okay, Brian, I'm going to tell you this from personal experience, is that it depends on whether or not you could say to a woman, bitch, I'm going to marry you. And then everybody laughs, or if it's just like, bitch, I'm going to marry you. Right?
Yeah.
If
Delivery is key, Brian. Delivery is key.
Don't ever go full bail on it. Like, just don't. I mean, unless she's just into the Batman voice. What would you do, Jason, if you were a single man and the hottest woman in the world walked up to you in a bar, but she talked like Christian Bale Batman voice? If she was like, hey, sexy. Like, it sounded exactly like Christian Bale from Batman, but like the hottest woman.
All right, I'm gonna let you in to my unfiltered, not trying to be funny, my honest thought process. She's got the Batman Bale voice. I think,
right.
Oh, she smokes a lot of cigarettes. And then I think immediately, oh, she smokes, she pokes. That's what I thought. That's immediately what came to mind. So I'm thinking, right on. I'm going to score.
But do you not think that did you this is the part that I keep coming back to in these particular scenarios is, do you not think you'd be put off when you're in the middle of doing it and you basically are hearing Christian Bale tell like, fuck me harder? Like he's like weird Joker /fic is now going on. Would just be a part of your brain that just goes like, I don't know, I can't. This is or
okay. You present a compelling argument. That is something I have not yet explored.
Okay.
I don't know, Jeff. I don't know, but I do know that if it was a Bane voice and you were with the girl.
Yes, I knew this was going to get turned around eventually.
Sploosh.
I knew when it came out of my mouth. Sure, man. Sure. So there you go, Brian. Is there such a thing as too much rage select? Of course there's not. Of course there's no such thing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
too much rage select.
I mean,
don't be one of those people that complains there's too much to watch, too much content.
Too much content.
when I was on the internet before this, I would have killed for a website with the amount of content that we have. And in fact, I'm murdering myself every day to make sure that you guys have content. So drink it in. Drink it in. All right. This next one comes in from Will, and Will says, hey, guys, my name is Will, and I go by Wildo on the site. I recently bought a Wii U against all of my friends' suggestions not to. And I got to say...
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You all right? Okay. Yeah. And I got to say, it's freaking great. I love it. I actually am enjoying it more than any other new system I've bought. I've noticed more and more people buying it and saying the same thing. Do you think it will eventually take off further than it has? Its sales are already higher than the Xbox One. Take it easy, Will. He also, I think this is the same guy. We already answered the pizza flavored cock question, right? We did that on a previous podcast.
Did we? I don't remember that, but
okay. Well, then maybe
I'm usually drinking, so.
It was a Kobayashi Murphy that was a cock flavored pizza or pizza flavored cock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we already answered that one.
Yeah,
on a previous one.
We did. I don't remember the answer, but we did. To answer your question, no, the Wii U's not going to take off. You should have bought an actual next gen system like a fucking man and is he American?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's from one of those communist countries.
He's got a phone number attached to his email, so I assume that it's got a U.S. area code. So.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, he's fucked up. Everybody fucks up every now and then. So whatever, we'll forgive him. But yeah, that was that was stupid. Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah, I'm even looking at the prices of them, and they're like $300.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like crazy about Mario Kart or something, or just Mario in general, sure. But I have a PS4 sitting here that Rage Select purchased for me, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's not that Fisher Price looking shit that you sank your money on, you dumb son of a bitch.
Well, wait. First off, at this particular point in time, you can make a good case for buying a Wii U.
Nope.
But we also don't know.
Nope.
We also don't know. We don't know if he already owns one of those other consoles. Maybe he already owns a PS4 and Xbox One.
He doesn't.
How do you know?
I just know.
Okay.
You can tell by the way he phrased the question. He does not own anything. In fact, he bought one of these because, I don't know, maybe he had low blood sugar, or maybe he's poor, or I don't know. And he bought one of these things, and he's either gonna regret it, or he's gonna be that asshole who defends his decision for like the next 4 years.
I
know that guy?
Yeah,
you know
I know that guy.
About?
I do. I still think there's a reasonable. I think that you could make a reasonable case for getting a Wii U at this point. There are enough games for it that you could play that are good and interesting. No.
Nope.
Well, to answer your question, sir, I think the Wii U might end up. I don't even know what the sales of it are to date. I mean, I don't.
I think they sold like 3 last week.
3.
Yeah. One of them to that guy,
and a couple to his friends. But I think that they may end up. I think they may end up breaking even, or that it may end up doing all right for them, right, for Nintendo. But you can already tell that it is nowhere near the place that the Wii was, right? Like, everybody was buying that shit forever.
Yeah,
It was really popular, flying off the shelves. One of the most successful Nintendo console launches I've seen in my lifetime. Wii U, not as much.
I want to know why he did that.
Probably because he wants to play Hyrule Warriors. I mean, at this point, you got Hyrule Warriors, you got Mario, you got Mario Kart. I mean, Super Mario 3D Land, I put that, that was one of my favorite games from last year. It was a really good game.
Okay. All right.
There's a bunch of games for it. I don't know. I can
don't,
see it.
Don't buy a Wii U. Borrow one.
Rent one from Blockbuster Video.
Rent one from Blockbuster Video. They probably still have a Virtual Boy. Try that as well. You can try tennis.
I don't think they even Blockbuster Video is gone, right? They don't even.
I think so. I think maybe there are a couple left across the country, but not many.
Like privately owned ones.
Yeah, exactly. There were a couple of privately owned ones that lasted a while here in town, but then they all shut down like right around the same time.
I say good fucking riddance. Good riddance,
Yeah,
Blockbuster.
that whole place had turned into just a fucking shit show. It's like, oh, you've got 700 copies of Made to Order, but I can't find a copy of The Third Man. Fuck you.
It was always a shit show. It was a shit show from day one.
I don't know. It was pretty cool at first. But Blockbuster will never be as cool as a mom and pop where they're just like, oh, this one has some sort of guy with a scythe chasing a girl who's getting eaten, a girl in Daisy Dukes who's getting eaten by an alligator. That looks cool. Let's buy 2 copies of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why mom and pops will always rule.
Yeah.
Whatever. Tangent.
Yep. Our next one comes in from Joe. Joe says, greetings to you, prophets of the all-knowing Dong Lord and his vagina priestess. I don't think we've gotten to that part of the story yet.
People are trying to kind of force the vag on us with that vagidiety. People have submitted. Who's writing this? Who wrote this letter?
Joe. Yeah.
Okay. No. So there's a movement. There's a vag movement to have a feminine equivalent to Dongacles. There's a movement, and I don't know if we're going to acknowledge it, if we're going to ignore it, but I just want to throw that out there to you,
okay,
Jeff.
No, I've read the comments. I read them all. Even the ones you post on other websites. Sorry. Says, greetings, blah, 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 blah. I have a very odd question to ask. Is there a movie you love because it's so terrible that it's enjoyable?
Yes.
For me, I would say that Stallone Judge Dredd would fit the bill. Yeah, it's cheesy as hell, and Stallone's acting is laughable, but it's still a great flick to drink beers and laugh at with friends. Curious about your answers, and always love the site. Joe. And so I picked this question, Jason, mostly for you because I think that it's pretty well established that Jeff will kind of watch whatever.
Yeah, you've got fucking stupid taste, really. I mean,
so I'm curious to know what is a so bad it's good movie.
All right.
For Jason.
There is a reason that Troll 2 is referred to as the best worst movie.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched Troll 2 yet, Jeff?
Of course.
It's fucking great. It's so good.
It's pretty freaking incredible. It's got that lady in there is just,
oh my god, it is a horrible movie, but it's so much fun to watch.
Yes.
It's and they don't even refer to the trolls as trolls. They're goblins, whatever.
Yep.
It's rife with problems. The acting is terrible, the effects are terrible, and yet it is a blast to watch.
Okay.
Now
what else?
That is my number 2.
Oh, when you're number 1.
My number 1 is The Miami Connection.
Oh yeah. Yeah, was it last year at Fantastic Fest where everybody
2 or
3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas just Miami Connection all the time.
It was actually 2 years ago, something like that. Maybe 3. Yeah. Miami Connection is available through Draft House Films on Blu-ray, and I bought it on Blu-ray. Guys, seriously, everyone watching this, get your friends together. Acquire yourself. In fact, I think Miami Connection it was anyway, but might still be on Netflix streaming.
Let me check.
Yeah, check it out. Have you watched it yet, Jeff?
I have not. I've been too busy watching the new Transformers movies.
Oh, man. I keep talking to my friend Rod about having a Miami Connection Megaforce double feature.
Ooh, Megaforce.
Yeah.
Looks like it's not on Netflix anymore.
Oh, that's okay. I've got a Blu-ray of it. I know where the Blu-ray is.
So everybody come to my house. Everybody
come over. No, it's available through Draft House Films. This movie is okay. So they released this movie in the 80s, and then it just vanished because it was so terrible. The programmers of the Alamo Draft House, Lars Nilsson and Zach Carlson, they're no longer with the company anymore. But they went, and as I understand it, there was a company who had like basically a warehouse of old film reels. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have anything to do with it, with them, and they thought they were worthless, so they were going to dump them into the fucking ocean.
Yeah, you hear a lot of stories about companies that don't do any kind of archival and just throw away shit. Yeah,
God, it's a crime. Right?
Yeah,
it's so fucked up. But Zach said, "Hey, we rented all of these tractor trailers or whatever." Load them up, and we will take them. So they shipped them all back to Austin and slowly made their way through this collection. And in that collection, they found the Miami Connection. Mm-hmm. And so Zach spent months calling the director, producer, and star, can't remember his name right now, of the Miami Connection, who is like, he's got all these self-help books, and he teaches martial arts, and he's like a strip mall Doc Savage. But he kept calling this guy. He said, "Hey, I want to talk about giving a re-release and showing at Fantastic Fest Miami Connection." And whenever he would get to Miami Connection, the guy would hang up on him. Mm-hmm. Because it basically ruined his life. But Zach kept trying, and eventually he got through to the guy, and they agreed to it, and it's sublime. You're watching it, and you're just like, wow, this was made by mentally retarded Kung Fu Martians.
At some point I've got to see this movie.
I'll bring it over, and we will watch it. And there has to be beer. You know, okay, maybe, you know, if you're a teetotaler, you don't drink, whatever, fine. Just watch it anyway. Maybe you'll appreciate it. I don't know how sober people think. I don't know. I don't understand it. Whatever. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. But as a beer drinking person, as someone who likes to pollute his mind, I watched this while drinking beer, and I watched it, and it changed me. It got in, and it altered my DNA, and I was like, wow, this is a level of shit that is so entertaining. I've never experienced it before.
Awesome. I think that in that, I mean, while you've been talking, I've had a chance to think about. I think that the stuff that I would put in that category is probably shit that people already know about. Like Plan 9 is real fun. That's a fun movie to watch.
Oh, yeah. Plan 9's
completely
great.
ridiculous. Anybody out there? Okay, actually, you know what? It's funny.
Full title, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Plan 9 from Outer Space. Ed Wood's masterpiece. It's weird after watching, like, and it's actually a testament. I never saw Plan 9 from Outer Space until after I saw Tim Burton's Ed Wood. And it's amazing how like when I was watching it, I was like, man, I feel like I've already kind of seen this just from the way that they put it all together in Ed Wood. But here's another one, and I don't know, there's probably a good chunk of you out there who already know what the fuck I'm talking about. But for those who don't, if you want to see one of the greatest bad movies of all time, Manos, The Hands of Fate.
That's really, really, really bad.
Yeah. In fact, most of this is shit that I picked up off of MST3K. Also, my favorite MST3K episode of all time, if you haven't seen it, you should go search it out immediately, is Mitchell with Joe Don Baker.
You've got like an original poster of that.
Yeah, I like it
so
much.
Probably worth something.
It's pretty chewed up. My friend was walking his dog. He likes to walk his dog down this record store, and the guy at the record store knows he'll give his dog some water. And he saw a Mitchell poster in there, and he was like, "I bought it, and here it's for you because you like this movie way more than I do. I need to like put it in a frame and everything." Of course, I've got like 4 or 5 different framed pictures that just aren't on my walls because I'm gonna move someday, and then I'm gonna have to take them down off the wall.
You don't have anything on your walls.
I have the Clean or Die sign from Krieger's Lab and Archer in my kitchen. That's all I have. Yeah,
and
which
that's
is kind of a joke. Yeah, I even have I've got a bunch of pictures. I got a framed picture of Lone Star that I got for Christmas from my family because they, you know, when you're 30, your family doesn't know what to get you. They're like, he likes that Lone Star, right? And, you know, but Yeah, none of it's up on my walls at all. All right, another question. This one comes in from Michael Maitre-Jean. Apparently, I've been saying it the wrong way this entire time.
How were you saying it?
Maitre-Jean. It's just with all the...
just Maitre-Jean. Okay.
Maitre-Jean.
Yeah, no, he writes into us all the time.
Yep. He says, hello, priests of the almighty dong. Lately, I've been trying to become more multicultural with my meals. I've tried curry, calamari, and crumpets, but now I've hit a wall and can't decide what to try. Any ideas? And please don't suggest something gross like roasted slug or any type of testicles or haggis. Your faithful disciple, Michael Maitre-Jean. I wonder, does it curry, calamari, and crumpets? Do you just need to move on to the D foods out there?
Yeah. Move on to the eat some D.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I can get... I think there's a reason people eat haggis, and I wasn't able to bring myself to eat haggis when I was in Scotland, and it's one of the greatest disappointments of my life, because generally speaking, I have this theory that if people are still eating it, there's got to be some reason for it. That people don't just eat rotten, terrible garbage and then go, this is awful. Let's just keep eating this for hundreds of years because it's just terrible. But I don't know, Jason. What's your go-to as far as what's some odd things that you've had recently?
Well, I didn't. Okay, so I lived in a town in West Texas that had nothing for like adventurous foods. There were like a couple of Chinese places, but really, I mean, the chances that you were eating one of your pets or maybe the one homeless guy in town were pretty high. And everything was fried and shitty and everything. And other than that, it was all Tex-Mex because it was West Texas, and like Odessa had like 80% Hispanic population or whatever. So it was all Tex-Mex or steak or barbecue or whatever. So when I moved to an actual city, Austin, I experienced all sorts of stuff. I've had Ethiopian and Greek and Thai and Russian, interior Mexican, whatever, right? Filipino food. It's there's all sorts of stuff that you can find here. Probably not as much as you can find in San Francisco or Chicago or Los Angeles or New York or whatever. But we've got a pretty good selection of stuff. So my favorite food that was non-traditional to me is Greek.
Mm-hmm.
I like Greek.
Mediterranean.
Yeah. Get some shawarma.
Mm-hmm. That was the weirdest thing to me when they were in the Avengers and Tony Stark is like, I've never had shawarma before, but I want to try it. I'm like, the fuck you mean you've never had shawarma before? It's Euro meat, motherfucker. I've been eating that shit all my life. They used to sell it at Jack in the Box. They used to sell gyros.
Yeah, I didn't have that until I was probably mid to late 20s.
Okay, I can see that. Still, I say that for me, I like. There's a couple different Asian things that I think that you should definitely get at. Like, it took me a long time to get the vermicelli bowl from Vietnamese restaurants.
Okay,
vermicelli bowl with usually if you can get like roasted pork on it and then have them throw a fried egg on there. It's got this fish sauce. It probably sounds incredibly disgusting saying this all at the same time, but if you can get that stuff, it is absolutely fantastic. I've never had banh mi before, but I've heard nothing but good stuff about banh mi, Vietnamese sandwiches. Have you had banh mi?
I have once or twice. Yeah, there's a place just down the street, and banh mi usually has mayo on it. Mm-hmm. Not a fan. Not a fan of mayo. But yeah, I have had banh mi. And there's often mint on there as well. And I don't really do mint when I've got like meat and stuff. Meat and mint. No, that's weird.
Nope.
That's weird shit. No.
Okay. The other thing I could say is a thing that I only ate when I was in Amsterdam, but just because I haven't gone out to like do a search here in town, and mostly because I only eat the same 4 things every single day of the week, out of choice, not out of like that's all I want. But if you can find yourself a good Indonesian restaurant, There's a thing on the Indonesian menu called, I believe it's called Reisstaffel, and it's part of the.
That's Reisstaffel.
Yeah,
that sounds like the. It sounds like a hot dog place at a Nazi food court.
Well, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but Indonesia used to be a Dutch colony. So when you go to Amsterdam, there's a ton. It's kind of like here in Texas, the way we have a bunch of Mexican restaurants. It's like that, but with Indonesian food. Like they have an Indonesian population, Indonesian food. And so Reisstaffel is a Dutch word, and I'm reading this from Wikipedia. I don't think I'm smart. That is translated means rice table. And it's part of some of the cuisine that was brought back from Indonesia to from them being a colony. So what it basically is they bring out this giant hot plate, and most of the time Reisstaffel will come with somewhere between 20 and sometimes up to like 50 or 40 different dishes. And what they do is they bring you a bowl of rice, and they bring out this hot plate, and they bring out a bunch of these tiny little dishes, and every single dish has a different thing in it. So this one will have some kind of pickled egg dish. This one will have some meat and like a peanut sauce, and this one will have a thing in another sauce or whatever. And each one of them has basically just a couple bites, kind of like a tapas, right? So then you just take your rice and you just put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so it's a really dynamic, kind of diverse dish because you get a whole bunch of different tastes all at the same time, and you basically just get like a bite or two of each individual thing. And I think it's great. We used to get it when we were over there. So, well, I can't. My brain, Holland. I'm sorry, my brain was just seized up. I couldn't remember the name of the country.
Holland.
That's
where they speak Hollish.
Yes. But yeah, if you can find an Indonesian restaurant, I highly recommend it. Yes, as Jason said, if you can find yourself a Mediterranean restaurant, if you have not engaged in the whole hummus, spanakopita, freaking just tzatziki sauce on everything. So good. I'm really hungry. Now. All right, next up. This one actually is an inadvertent callback to something you were talking about before. Hello, Rage Select. It's Andre from Ecuador. Since fall has started, my wife and I did one of the things we enjoy the most of the season, cram our fridge full of pumpkin ice cream. So I was wondering, do you have a specific food or flavor that is not always available? Confession time, years ago I was really obsessed with a McRib, even though I hated everything else in the McDonald's menu.
Fungus monkey? You live in Ecuador now?
That's right. He had to move to Ecuador. Thank you for answering my question. Thank you for hours of entertainment. And thank you for keeping it fucking classy, Andre from Ecuador. I don't know, being in America, how much we have. Here in Austin, the only thing I can think of that's seasonal is they have the chili festivals, right, that come around.
Yeah, I know. No, I've got something.
Do you?
I do. And it's something that has broken my heart. Because, as you know, I was off in space all summer.
Right.
And summer is the prime time, the only time that Shiner Box Ruby Redbird is available.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a damn good beer. It's a Bock beer with some grapefruit accents to it. Mm-hmm. And by the time I returned to Texas, I couldn't find it anywhere. And so now I've got to wait until, like, fucking May to get some Shiner Ruby Redbird, and the beer is so good. Now, right now, I'm drinking some delicious pumpkin beer, 10% alcohol. I don't know if you could tell by the way this podcast has been going, but it's good. It's pumpkin spiced. It's delicious. There's all sorts of pumpkin spice shit right now. But Shiner Ruby Redbird, that shit is the tits.
I think that for the most part, I mean, I don't really do anything that requires a specific time of year. I remember there's actually several summers ago, I think Fat Tire had a summer beer that I really enjoyed that I've never seen again. But yeah, I'm trying to think outside of beer and like chili festivals and stuff like that. If there's anything around here that's seasonal, I mean, in the U.S., we've kind of done that thing, right, where we globalize. We don't have to have, like, I don't know, do neither one of us eats like fresh fruit or vegetables or
No,
anything?
right around now, there's still all of the pumpkin stuff that comes up. And then there's like the Hatch Green Chili Fest, where we get shit from New Mexico. So there's still a few things.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really engage in very many of those things. Once again, my eating habits are a little bit bleh. All right, well, Jason, you're on a roll. Here's the next one. This one comes in from a different Jason, who says, Mr. Murphy, as someone who enjoys the finer things in life, like scotch, I feel I must ask, do you like your scotch neat, on the rocks, with a splash of water, or mixed into a cocktail? Also, what is your favorite region, and do you prefer single malt or blended? Thanks for answering. Another Jason.
Well, that's a very good question, sir. I will drink them neat or on the rocks, never with water, never mixed into a cocktail. Jesus. I'll mix whiskey into a cocktail, but not a good scotch. Come on. I'm not a fucking animal.
I like the way you take such personal offense to it. You're just like, come on, man, get your shit together.
Yeah, no.
What am I going to do?
No, he clearly has an opinion. He was just testing me.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I'll have them neat, sometimes with some ice, depending on what kind of mood I'm in or whatever. That said, I will drink single malts in blends. I'm not picky. I prefer the single malts. But as far as like the region of Scotland that I prefer, I don't really have one. Peaty, smoky, earthy, whatever. I like them all. I like today. I bought like a handle. I bought a big handle of Scotch from the Highlands. Didn't go with the Space Side or anything like that. I was like, yeah, let's just go with the Highlands, And some of them, like Allison doesn't like, because some of them she thinks they taste like Band-Aids, which I don't understand. It's like people who eat cilantro and they think it tastes like soap. Whatever. But yeah, I don't have a particularly favorite region. I like them. I like them of all different types. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Okay. I like to take my scotch and put it into a milkshake. That way I don't have to taste it, because I think that... blech.
You're a monster. You're a fucking animal. You just don't like scotch?
I've tried... Okay, here's the thing. I don't like the taste of liquor. I just don't like it. I've tried a whole bunch of different liquors over the course of my life.
But you do Jägermeister, and that's like the shittiest.
I do shots of Jägermeister. I'll do shots of Jameson or whatever. Like, I'm not sitting there sipping, savoring this. I won't pour. Oh my God. In fact, it makes me want to throw up just saying this, but like, I don't pour 2 fingers of Jägermeister into a tumbler and then sit swirling it around while I look at my evil genius screen or whatever you do when you swirl around a tumbler of whatever. But I'm not willing to go through like one time I've told the story a while back, but we're getting into the repeating territory. One time my boss had it was like $50 or $75 gift certificate to Opal Divine, which is a bar here in Austin that has a bunch of different scotches in it, right? So it was New Year's Eve, and he said, take this. I'm never going to use it. If you want to use it, feel free. So I went into the bar, and I walked up to the bartender, and I sat down, and I put my thing down, and I slid it over to him, and I went, teach me to love scotch. And he poured me maybe a dozen different varieties of scotch, and all of them kind of tasted like gross.
Oh, my God. Did you pay for these?
I used the gift certificate.
Oh, you just used the gift certificate for that. Okay.
Yeah. And
I was about to say, so that's what I need to say? I just need to go to this place, and they'll just like give me like 12 different types of scotch if I just say, teach me about scotch?
No. I said that. I tried out a whole bunch of different ones. They all kind of, and then I at one point I got one that I thought that wasn't making me like wrinkle my nose and make that face, that fucking I'm 16, I've never drank liquor before face that I still make every goddamn time. It had him, give it to me with just a little water in it, some ice or whatever, and I went out and I sat there on the patio smoking my cigarette, trying to be cool, and every time I took a sip, it was just like, I don't like this. This tastes like disgusting. And so I haven't gone through the portion of life where I just keep drinking liquor until I don't care what it tastes like anymore, because there's totally beer, and I like the taste of beer, and liquor is just no. So
I'm really.
You're shaking your head.
Pretty much. I'm really disappointed.
But we've had this conversation before too, right? Where like you started drinking scotch because I don't think anybody takes a sip of scotch and goes, "Ooh, that's delicious." Like, I think that you drink scotch because you want to be one of those guys in the movies that invites somebody in to his study and takes the thing out of the crystal decanter and pours them a thing of scotch and you a thing of scotch, and you sit down with your glasses with no ice in them, and like you see in movies, right? Like, I want to be that guy in the movies, but I don't want to spend 2 years drinking a drink that I fucking despise just so that I can get used to it, so that I can drink it and look like a cool guy, especially when there's beer. Because beer is delicious.
Wait, are you saying I drink it to look like a cool guy?
I think that we discussed this previously.
Did we?
I think that you said that there was a part of you that probably was in the beginning. Because, or are you telling me the first time that you ever took a sip of scotch that it was just like, this is delicious and I want to drink it for the rest of my life, without any?
I don't remember.
Or I mean, like, obviously, I have not ever met a person, I don't think, who the first time they took a drink of straight liquor, not beer, wine, or any of that stuff, but just like straight up liquor, without any mixer, without any chaser, without any anything, and just put it to their lips and drink it, that just went, ooh, that's wonderful, and I want to keep doing that for a long time. Like most people that I know, they will eventually force themselves through various mixed drinks that they then make less and less and less to get to a point where they're used to drinking it. But I don't know very many people who just like the taste of raw liquor by itself.
I do.
Well, you do now, right? But you've been drinking scotch for what, 20 years?
I don't remember. I don't remember if I liked it or not the first time. Well, I didn't like beer the first time.
Yeah, me neither. But beer is a lot easier to get over, right? Because it's more watery and there's a lot of different, like all liquor has that horrible liquor bite to it, right? That just the strength of liquor in it that makes your mouth catch on fire. And maybe for me it's different because I don't like things that make my mouth hurt. So I don't drink soda, or I didn't drink it when I was a kid or when I was younger. I still don't really drink it today because I didn't like the carbonation. I don't eat spicy food because I don't like the heat in my mouth. Maybe I am just the inside of my mouth is a giant vagina, right?
You are such an old woman.
Yeah. Well. All right, next question. This one comes in from Herr Zim, I think. It's not signed. Who says, how do you feel about games that punish the player for the way that they play the game? For example, Skyrim will have random thugs or assassination attempts after leaving towns or caves. Fallout 3, however, will send mercenaries after you whenever you have a good or bad karma level. Should a game punish you by sending randomly generated enemies simply because of the decision to be a good guy or a bad guy? I've had games where exiting a tunnel or a cave is almost instant death due to being low on supplies, and had one game of Fallout 3 ruined when attacked by mercenaries without any food/health supplies left and too hurt to face the enemies. Or is this simply a problem with only Bethesda games? And that is from Herr Zim. What do you think? You've run into this before, right?
I'm trying to think of a specific specific example.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, in Fallout 3 or in Skyrim, it's pretty blatant, right? You'll get people who come in and you'll get computer-generated people who just show up and go, give me all your money, or, oh, you're done for, when you reach a certain level in the game. I don't know. I think that shit just kind of blends into the background with me with all the other game mechanics. So I'm the kind of person who likes to keep my shit all topped up, like at all times, with a supply of healing and lots of bullets and stuff like that. So I don't know if I've ever run into that particular situation before. I think I've run into it in the old days, right? When you quick save a game, and it turns out that somebody was shooting a sniper rifle at you, and so every time you load, you just insta-die.
Oh, yeah. God, that was... I really haven't run into that in a long time. It seems like it's very rare, that you have something like that, where you just insta-die or what have you, but... Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example, but nothing's... I can't think of anything specific right now.
The only game that I could think of that I've played that really does this in the last few years has been the original Demon's Souls. And in Demon's Souls, it had the world had a lightness or a darkness to it. There were like 5 levels of lightness and 5 levels of darkness. And so every time you beat a boss, the game would tick up in the lightness direction one time. But if you invaded other people's games, or if you died while you were a human or things like that, it would tick the game towards darkness. And when it was darker, the game would be harder, but it would give you better loot. And when it was lighter, it would be easier, but you wouldn't get as good drops from enemies.
Okay.
But the main problem with this was that it was almost completely hidden. Like if you were supposed to try to figure this out on your own, like it doesn't come up on the screen and tell you the world is darker. Like shit just starts getting harder in the game. At least I don't remember it coming up and ever saying that. There's like this one place on your map, there's a little gem that's light or dark, and it doesn't ever tell you shit. It just, you're playing the game, suddenly everything gets harder. That's one of the only games that I thought of that I could think of that really punishes you. I guess Shadow of Mordor kind of does, right? Kind of punishes you a little bit.
Yeah. No, that definitely does, right?
But that. I guess his question is more about punishing you for specifically your decision on like a morality scale. I don't really know that many games that do that. I think it might just be Bethesda games. I personally like it when games get sassy with you.
I do too. Because, not like to a Ninja Gaiden level, but challenging. That's why I like. That's one of the things I like about Shadow of Mordor. It's like I'll beat a guy and then, or a guy will beat me, and then it's like, oh, guess what? He's stronger now because he gained reputation. And it's like, and that just makes me angrier. That just makes me want to beat him even harder.
Yeah, there's consequences. I think that's one of the big things, that there are consequences to your actions, and that always invests me more in a game, where the things that I do have consequences on the world or consequences on my playstyle, even if it's when you fail. Like a lot of times I think that the people who get all up in arms about games are so easy these days are the same people who, I think that what they're really talking about is having a consequence to dying, instead of just being like, well, I just got to go back to the last checkpoint. What the fuck ever. I'll just beat my head up against this checkpoint until I get through it. Then fuck it. Who cares? And I like that shit. So I'm going to go with, yes, I think games should punish you for anything. I think games should be punishing. All right, we got one more question, then we're out. This one kind of goes back to you as well, Jason. From Tina. Tina says, found an article recently about Marvel working with the Florida Department of Citrus to create Captain Citrus, a superhero powered by the sun, in order to promote orange juice. They're going as far as to have Captain Citrus team up with the Avengers in order to fight something, vitamin C deficiency maybe. While it's not new to see superheroes being used in advertising, I still feel this team up is kind of weird. So my question is there a product or industry that you feel would be going too far if you saw one of your favorite characters endorsing? What would that item be? Thanks for answering, Tina.
I don't know. I mean, these whole endorsements things, they've been going on for the longest time, right? I mean,
Batman was hawking fucking Hostess fruit pies.
Oh yeah, well, everybody
forever.
was, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, right now you're going to see there's Marvel characters hawking Harley motorcycles and stuff like that. Whatever, it's it's how they pay the bills. None of that really worries me. I mean, they're going to whore that stuff out because comic books aren't particularly lucrative. So I can't really blame them. Fine, you want to make X-Men trash bins or booster gold spinners. Fine, do it. Yeah, it doesn't. As long as the product is not affecting the story, I don't mind.
So if you saw like a TV commercial, or if you had like Duracell battery advertisement shoehorned into Red Dead, that would be. What do you think about that?
That would be bad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of times it just depends on what it is. Like I know that it's in Alan Wake, right? Like the batteries that you picked up were like specifically.
Oh, were they?
Energizers or some brand of Energizer battery or something like that. I seem to remember there being something about that, about product placement in there. And I don't necessarily even have too much of a problem with product placement anytime they use it in a modern day set context because the modern world we live in has a lot of product placement in it, right? It would be weird. It's like every time in a video game that you see like the fake Coke machines that they've got in there, if that was an actual Coke machine and Coke paid the developers to put that machine in there, I have a problem with that because in all honesty, it's more realistic to see a Coke machine than it is to see generic cola that some guy had to make up, you know?
Yeah.
I think that it gets gross. I think it gets gross when I open up the box for NFL and it's got coupons for batteries and Gillette razors and shit like that, where actually it's not even really gross because I've been along long enough. I've been marketed to so often in my life that marketing doesn't, well, it obviously it does affect you. But when I opened up Madden and I found those coupons, I was just like, to me, it was just weird. It was like, do football fans need to shave a lot and then they need batteries for their electric I don't understand. It's kind of like when you see all these Doritos and Mountain Dew endorsement, like, you know, that people harp on that all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, but I don't eat Doritos or drink Mountain Dew. Like, so by shoving the shit in my face, it's not like I'm going to be more likely to go be like, you know what I really want is Mountain Dew, because I've already made my peace with what terrible things I will put inside of me, and it's mostly just Taco Bell and Bane. So
the truth comes out.
So I'm trying to say, is there a product or industry that you feel would be going too far if you saw one of your favorite characters endorsing? Not really. They've already broken me down. Jason, can you think of a single thing that you hold sacrosanct? I mean, you know, maybe Tina might be a little bit younger to not remember back when like Star Wars came out and every commercial on TV for Empire Strikes Back was go to Burger King for this Burger King glass.
That is the exact example I was about to use.
Right, or anything would happen and there would be a McDonald's Happy Meal where there was a commercial with the characters from that TV show. Hell, man, our entire childhood was a commercial. Transformers was a commercial for Transformers. And in between the show that was selling us toys and the show that was selling us Army guys, they had commercials to sell us every sugary cereal and then toys. Like, I don't know. At this point, I don't know that there's anything that I could think of that would be super offensive because I feel like I've already seen exactly how much marketing and advertising there can be. I mean, you go to the internet, right? And like, you know, the ads on the internet.
They've got Wookiee cookies. You know, yeah.
What's a Wookiee cookie?
No, it's like a cookie that looks like Chewbacca. I mean, Star Wars will whore itself out. That's the thing. It's like, it's not a question of who do I sell out to, or it's not a question of do I sell out. It's who do I sell out to. So yeah, it's, you know, all of the things. That's the way I see it. It's like, yeah, they maybe they have to make this money so that they can keep doing what they do, or maybe they just like money, whatever. As long as it's not affecting what made me fall in love with the property to begin with.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
As long as it's like, okay, Star Wars or Spider-Man can shill for a Hostess, whatever. But if I'm reading an issue of Amazing Spider-Man and the way he beats the Green Goblin is because he eats a lot of Hostess fruit pies, and the Green Goblin is turned off by the scent that he starts giving off because he ate all of these Hostess fruit pies, you know.
Jason, I've read that comic. That comic exists, and I've totally read it. They put that shit out all the time.
But no, it's a commercial, though.
No, I mean, I've read, like, you know, you go, well, I guess that it's a one shot. It's usually free, right? But, like, you know that there's those comics where it's like Captain America teams up with Twinkie the Kid to take down Red Skull.
No, but
like,
that's clear to anyone with half a brain.
Right.
That they're all that's you know, that's an advertisement. That it's not canon. It's not part of the story.
Right. No, but now I kind of want to see super dark, like Frank Miller Dark Knight, where he has to stop and then his inner monologue becomes a commercial for fucking Snowballs or whatever, and he's like, Two-Face was going to be here any minute, but I was hungry. I reached into my belt and pulled out snowballs, the only thing that's ever understood me.
Jeff, that's brilliant. That is fucking brilliant. Garth Ennis writing the Hostess ads for The Punisher.
The Punisher, yeah. I think we should go back. I think that what you and I should do, we'll be the most hated people of all time, but it'll so be worth it.
I'm good with that. Let's do it.
We should go back. We'll do this totally on the internet as a free product that's not for profit, right? We need to go back and get Watchmen, scan in every page of Watchmen, and subtly change everything in Watchmen so that every panel has some sort of product placement, whether it's the clothes that they're wearing or the coffee that they're drinking or the poster behind them in the office, every single page. And we'll change Ozymandias' corporation to be fucking GE or like, I don't know, whatever. And just take that whole thing and tear it down to the ground and fill it from top to bottom with product placement. I think that'd be great.
You know who's really going to love it?
Randy?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore?
Yeah.
I can't tell that guy. That guy might get on his blog and be like, this is the most brilliant thing that's ever happened in the history. Like,
maybe. You never know. He's a crazy old wizard.
Or he might show up at my house and try to put a poop curse on me. You know, who could tell with Alan Moore? That guy, he's insane.
Yeah, he might say, Jeff, I banish you to the Liberian poop party.
That's right. Well, you know what, folks? That is all the questions that we have for this week. But if you'd like to send in a question asking our advice on cuisine or the ladies or what have you, mail@rageselect.com is the email address. That is mail@rageselect.com. I haven't gotten a single email through my admin account. That's great. Do not send things to the admin account. Through the admin account. Sorry, I'm very tired. The coffee is starting to wear off. I feel like I'm underwater right now. So I got to get back. I think I got like 3 hours left in Shadow of Mordor, and I'm either going to die or finish this game tonight. So, Jason, do you have any parting words for our wonderful, wonderful listeners?
Be equal to each other. I don't know, man. I got a Bill and Ted quote. That's all I got.
Let's be excellent to each other.
Oh, fuck. That's what it was. Shit.
All right. We'll see you next week, folks.